What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Podcast. In this podcast episode, I'm going to be discussing some of the left tackles that the Colts could be interested in this offseason, whether it's free agents, whether it's trading for them, or whether it's even in the draft. But I would kind of much rather either sign or trade for a left tackle because a lot of times when tackles come into the league, they struggle their first few years because tackle is a very hard transition from college to NFL. All positions are, but tackle seems to be the one that's most difficult on the tackles. But but you never know. You never know. You really never know. So let's get into some of these free agents that we could possibly pick up. Um, we have Trent Williams is the first one that comes to mind. We all know Trent Williams had a great career with Washington, had a fantastic left tackle, one of the best left tackles throughout his whole career. Now he was with the Niners last year because he had a big contract dispute with the Redskins slash Washington football team. I'm sorry for saying the Redskins if that's gonna bother you. I apologize. But then we have I think Trent Williams would be a solid option. 33 years old, but he's gonna be more on the expensive side. But I guess if we would take him in for 1 year like the 49ers did, I would be okay with that. I would be okay with a 1 year deal and then maybe draft Liam Eichenberg maybe in the second round to sit behind him. I know we could fill in other needs with that second round pick, but I think we should have someone learn behind maybe if we even sign one of these older guys. But the next guy we have is Russell Kung. He is 33 years old, just like Trent Williams, and he's going to be a little less than Trent Williams, but not crazy less. I don't really want to mess with Russell Lukakis. He's a very solid player, but he's also getting up there. So I think I'd rather just go in on the more solid prospect than Trent Williams for another 2 or 3 million a year. To be honest, maybe if it's even 3 to 4 million, I'd throw in that 3 to 4 extra million just to have a very solid player to have you set at that side of your line. You imagine Trent Williams, Quentin Nelson, dude? That'd be that'd be nasty. But okay, let's get into our next part. Our next free agent. Next free agent is Alejandro Villanueva. He is a free agent, as we all know. I think he could be a very, very solid pickup for the Colts. He is also 33 as well, but I think he would be an even cheaper option than Trent Williams and Russell Kung. I know Alejandro Villanueva. I always have trouble saying his name, but I think he would be a solid pickup. But he wasn't solid last year. It seemed like age was starting to catch up with him a little bit. But at the same time, Steelers running backs weren't performing to what they wanted them to perform to, if you get what I'm saying. But that's Alejandro Villanueva. I wouldn't mind, but I'd rather just go all in on Trent Williams unless Alejandro Villanueva will take significantly less because I still think he's a solid player. I just don't think he is what he was. And then we have Jason Peters. Jason Peters could also be a solid, but he's 39 with some injury issues. He will be a little cheaper. He might even come to Indy for a little cheaper just to be with Carson Wentz, but I don't think Jason Peters is a solid option. Now, we could also take Cam Robinson from Jacksonville Jaguars. He's 26 years old, a little younger. He's going to be much, much cheaper than all the other options I have talked about. Um, he's still fairly young. He can still learn, but I don't know if we want to take a chance on Cam Robinson. I don't know how you Colts fans would feel about that, but if we were to sign someone a left tackle at 26, he'd probably be decently. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. I'm just contradicting myself there, but I just don't think we should sign a 26-year-old left tackle. If we could just draft one at the age of like 22, 23, 24, let them have a few more years of learning and even a few more years in their career. Now, an underrated left tackle free agent I think we can maybe sign is Dakota Dozier. He played for the Minnesota Vikings last year. Very, very solid run blocker, but he is terrible. He is so bad in pass blocking, as we've seen with the Vikings. Great run blockers, but terrible, terrible pass blockers. So I think he would be solid, not as a starter, even if he was a starter for a little while. Um, I wouldn't mind it, but I would rather sign him to be a backup because very solid run blocker. He fits our scheme. I think he would be a very, very solid backup. So now let's get into a few trade prospects. A few trade prospects that I think that we could trade for. No, not trade. Draft. I mean, we're gonna get into draft next. So a few options could be Christian Dereshaw. A few realistic options: Christian Dereshaw, Elijah Vera Tucker, Liam Eichenberg, Samuel Cosme, Leatherwood. Now, a lot of people seen Alex Leatherwood has struggled in the Senior Bowl, and not many are too high on him anymore. But I still believe he can be an okay tackle. But in my opinion, I really want Christian Dereshaw. I really want Christian Dereshaw. I don't know if he's gonna drop to 21. I just don't know if he's going to, but he's a very strong, solid tackle that could fill in and be a pretty good tackle for us early on, in my opinion, very quickly. And I believe that's what we need. So I wouldn't even be opposed to trading up a little bit for that tackle. But at the same time, we have other positions we need to address. So maybe maybe we draft a receiver at the first pick. Maybe we draft an edge, Quiddy Pay if he's still there. But I don't really think so. I think Chris Ballard's going to go with the higher end left tackle in the draft if we do draft the left tackle in the draft. So that's my thoughts. I'm not crazy about Elijah Vera Tucker. I think he's a very solid prospect. I don't know. I think I would like to see Liam Eichenberg. Maybe if we do end up drafting a receiver in the first round, maybe we draft Eichenberg and he falls to us in the second round. That's a possibility. But what if we draft Christian Dereshaw in the first round, then draft Rondell Moore in the second? I would not be opposed to that. I love Rondell Moore, but those are that's my thoughts on some of the left tackles coming out of the draft. I think Christian Dereshaw or Liam Eichenberg are the two solid options coming out. I think one of those guys are gonna be our tackles next year, over all these free agents and everything. That's my opinion. But now we're gonna get into my one trade prospect I have. The one trade prospect I have is Orlando Brown Jr. Now, there are definitely some pros and cons to trading for a young left tackle, but my biggest issue with this is that Orlando Brown Jr. is his rookie deal is up soon, and he's a great left tackle. He was an amazing he was an amazing right tackle, but then he switched to left tackle when Ronnie Stanley got hurt, and he was great there, but that's where he wants to play. He wants to play left tackle, so he's probably going to be traded. He doesn't want to play right tackle, and obviously Ronnie Stanley has that left tackle all locked up for the Ravens. So I would not be opposed to giving up just the first rounder of this year for Orlando Brown Jr. It would just be like drafting an already polished left tackle. But the issue is, since he's a good left tackle, he's a pretty damn good left tackle. He's going to be expensive, and he's going to want a hefty contract. And the biggest problem with that is we have big contracts coming up in Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard and Braden Smith, just to name a few. Those contracts are going to be insane. Those contracts are going to be insane. And we're going to need money for them. We are going to need money for them. Um, yeah, I I really want to draft one. I really want to get Christian Dereshaw. My personal opinion, my personal opinion is I think we should draft a tackle in the first round because I don't think we should put tackle off to the side until the second round. I think if Christian Dereshaw is there, you take Christian Dereshaw over Quiddy Pay. Whoever else is there, Christian Dereshaw is your number one guy at that spot, in my opinion. Because the wide receiver class is just as deep as it was last year. You could draft Rondell Moore. You could draft Elijah Moore. You could draft maybe even Kadarius Toney. I don't know if he's going to drop that far. I don't think he will. But there's plenty of receivers that could drop that the Colts could draft in the second round. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we should sign Trent Williams, sign a free agent? Do you think we should draft a left tackle? Do you think we should trade for Orlando Brown Jr.? What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know. I appreciate you guys. If you guys stuck through this whole video, I really, really appreciate it big time. I really do. I love every single one of my fans. We hit 77 subs this morning, a weird milestone, but hey, 77 subs, that's a lot to me. And I love every single one of you guys. So I appreciate you guys for watching. And have a great day. Don't forget to relax. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend, guys.